Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of June 16th to the 22nd, 2024. Odds are there probably won't be a video review this week. Some stuff kind of came up that unfortunately I'm going to have to deal with and everything like that, so I'm probably not going to have a video review for this week. Next week I probably will, but for this week, or at least I'll try to get one next week, but for this week I don't see myself doing a video review for this week and everything like that. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including limited run games holding their own showcase though. Walmart going through another pre-order situation, this time with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Marvel's Fighting Collection that was announced during the Nintendo Direct, but now there are some folks that are not happy with the fact that it's skipping the Xbox systems and all. And of course, we had the Nintendo Direct this week, and I do want to give my take on both the limited run game showcase and the Nintendo Direct for this week. And if you're interested in where I got the source of these information, links will be in the description down below of this video. And of course, if you want to skip to a certain part of it though, timestamps will also be in the description of this video as well. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details though. The first one has to do with basically, as some of you are probably aware of, during the Nintendo Direct, Metroid Prime 4, or should I say Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, was officially shown during the Direct and all. And once that was shown, there were a lot of people speculating that this was running on Switch 2 hardware or the Switch successor and everything like that, despite Nintendo's claim saying there's not going to be any mention of the Nintendo Switch during the Direct. Well, apparently, it seems, I think some of the folks at Digital Foundry and even others have started to come out saying that no, this is not running on the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Switch successor. This is running on the original Switch, which is, if that's true, I gotta say, hats off to Retro Studio. That looks very impressive, even for something running on the NVIDIA Tegra X1 chip and everything like that. That's gotta be very impressive and everything like that. We also learned during the Direct was basically that Nintendo 64 app is now basically going to have a adult mature only app available here in the West. This will be basically M-rated games on the Nintendo Switch online services. The 2 games currently right now are Perfect Dark and Turok Dinosaur Hunter will both be making their way over. And while I certainly am it's nice to see this though, I'm a little mixed on this to a certain degree, considering the fact that we've seen a better version of Turok Dinosaur Hunter be released, from, I think, Night Dive Studio and everything, basically running at 60 frames per second. That has been released on multiple systems years ago. There seems to be some reports of issues with the emulation of Perfect Dark running on the Nintendo Switch. We kind of ran into this when we saw what happened with, I think, Ocarina of Time, when that was brought over and everything. So we'll see how this one plays out. I'm not against the idea, but I'm very curious to see what other M-rated games, if there were some that maybe I missed out or some we don't know about that were released during the N64 days and everything like that. We also learned that the upcoming Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Game Collection, or Marvel Fighting Game Collection, is planning to get a physical release, which is certainly nice, to be exact. So it's nice to see that a physical version is coming, including for the Nintendo Switch. We also learned that the creators of their new Switch game, from the creators of Danganronpa, if I'm saying that name correctly, apologies if I'm butchering it, are claiming that they're apparently in debt over their new Switch game. Now, I'm not a game developer or anything like that, but for them to be over in debt, though, I do kind of question exactly how much of a budget was for them to be put in a situation to be put in this, though, that they're in debt and everything like that. So it is a little bit interesting for that, though. We also learned that the creators of Zenless Zone Zero, the producer, who also worked on games like, Geisha Impact and Hoka Star Rail, if I'm saying the name correctly, are hoping to bring their games to the Switch and the Xbox, which I wouldn't be against if they do or not. The Switch would be sort of interesting, to be exact, considering the whole idea behind the console, handheld hybrid concept and everything like that. I'm very curious how that would work, especially for, especially if you're not in an area with Wi-Fi or anything like that. But on the other hand, we have seen games like Fortnite to Overwatch make their way over to the Switch, to even Warframe. So maybe they'll bring this one over. We'll see. Or maybe they'll bring it to the Switch successor and all. And last but not least, we are learning that Xbox has started to give refunds to those who basically have purchased, the Bite Back edition of Redfall and everything like that, which I would say from a consumer standpoint, I think that is a good thing, though, considering Redfall was a disaster ranging from a lot of things, including behind the scenes, especially with all the drama that was going on. So I really think this was a smart move on Microsoft's part to do this, though. And while I do think Microsoft does share some of the blame for how Redfall was handled, I will say a majority of that does fall on the former leaders at Bethesda and the higher-ups, especially considering it wasn't the game that a lot of folks who signed up on wanted to work on. So I think there's a lot of blame that would go around on this one, to be exact. But in either case, though, it's nice to see that those who are going to get a refund, plus we're going to get an offline mode for Redfall. So at least there's a silver lining to the whole Redfall saga and everything. And in the movie and TV show part of the Quick My 2 Cents part, though, we have learned that basically Miyamoto has shared sort of an update on basically the upcoming Mario movie, and I don't know the official date, but they're aiming for sort of a 2026 release date for the sequel and everything like that. Now, granted, a lot of things could happen between now and 2026, so we'll see if they can hit that release date or not, though. So part of me is pleased to hear an actual release date for the sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but part of me also acknowledges that anything could happen between now and 2026. We also learned that apparently Inside Out 2 actually did very well at the box office during the Juneteenth, if I'm saying the name correctly, weekend and everything, along with Bad Boys Ride or Die. Apparently that is doing very well indeed. So obviously both of those movies certainly did well this week compared to, I think, around Memorial Day with the whole thing with Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, and Garfield. Apparently did not do as well as I think a lot of people would have thought that they would do. And unfortunately, there are reports of several deaths that unfortunately had happened on this week, including one is the name of Donald Sutherland. He has starred in several different shows and movies, but most might recognize him as being, I think, the main villain in the Hunger Games movie trilogies, though. So unfortunately, he has passed away, along with another person by the name of Taylor Will, if I'm saying his name correctly, who was in the TV show Hawaii Five-0 and did appear in, I think, the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Again, very sad to see these actors pass away, and my heart goes out to basically their friends, families, and those who may have been fans of these two actors' movies or TV shows or anything like that. Okay, with the Quick My 2 Cent and along with the movie and TV show part of the Quick My 2 Cent now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with the Nintendo Direct. Now, a lot of people were kind of looking forward to this and seeing this being what many are viewing as the Switch's final Direct for this year, as many do suspect that the Switch will be out supposedly next year and everything like that, although we don't have an official, the Switch successor out next year, although we don't have an official concrete date other than the fact that we know it does exist, and Nintendo hopefully will be talking about it during this fiscal year and everything. But in the meantime, I think there were many people wondering what this Direct was going to be like. There were rumors about the possibility of some remakes and remastered, which kind of was true to a certain extent. Well, after watching the Nintendo Direct myself, I honestly will have to say is that I do think this was a very good Nintendo Direct, and if this was sort of the final send-off for the Nintendo Switch, I think they ended it with a bang. Though I won't go out of my way and say it completely overtook the Xbox showcase, but it was still a very good Direct, nevertheless. Now, as always, I'm going to break it down into what I like and what I didn't like, mixed, or not 100% sure about. In terms of what I like, I definitely enjoy the fact that they started off with a brand new entry into the Mario and Luigi RPG with Mario Luigi Brothership. A lot of us was wondering what was going to happen to this series because the developers, Alpha Dreams, shut down, I believe, in 2017 following the release of what was apparently a remake of the Game Boy Advance game Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. It was sort of at a bad spot because it was clearly the Switch was doing much better than Nintendo had hoped for, considering, despite the fact that they were aiming for sort of the Switch and the 3DS could coexist and all. But it does look like that we are getting another entry. That is certainly nice, although I wouldn't be against the idea of the other entries being ported over, or remade, or remastered for the Nintendo Switch. But still, nevertheless, a brand new entry, and I am all for that and all. I am curious to see who is developing this new entry into the Mario and Luigi RPG, but nevertheless, it's definitely nice that we got a brand new entry into the Mario Luigi RPG. The next one, and this was rumored until it was officially confirmed, was Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now, for those who may not be familiar, this was originally released on the Apple Arcade when that originally launched. It was split into two parts, part 1 and part 2. So to see it finally coming to multiple systems, including the Switch itself, is certainly nice indeed. I'm very glad to see this happening, and the fact that apparently Square Enix will be publishing these versions as well. It's certainly nice indeed. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to seeing if there is a physical version. I believe it does, but I believe there is, but we'll have to wait and see. And I do hope this opens the door to maybe getting to publish, maybe, or develop or remake or remastered some of other Miss Walker's games. Like, I would love to see a remake or remaster of the Wii game, or originally part of Operation Rainfall, The Last Story, though. I also think Pandora's Tower should get the same treatment as well. Or even, Lost Odyssey, if that does happen and all. That is also a good game, although that I can buy that game on the Xbox Store and everything like that. So hopefully those games will happen, but very nice to see that Fantasian is getting some announcements. Apparently it's coming to other systems as well. The next one, obviously, is we got basically that Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake is coming along, and I think it will be out, I think, either this year or next year. Apologize if I get the release date wrong, though. I'm looking forward to it. I love these HD-2D remakes, though. They also announced they're doing this with Dragon Quest 1 and 2. I think that's great. Personally, I would like to see Chrono Trigger get the same kind of treatment, though. But either way, it's nice to see that the HD-2D style is still alive at Square Enix, and this game was not canceled or anything like that. The next one I do want to talk about is that we are getting a new Zelda game, but in a different way. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And this time you actually get to play as Zelda. And that is kind of interesting indeed. And what they showed from that, outside of it using the kind of art style that was used in the Link's Awakening remake and all, is the fact is her Zelda playstyle is a little bit different, as you are copying things and using items to solve puzzles, even attack enemies. I've even seen some people claim that it sort of has a bit of the kind of ideas we saw in, the game Overlord and everything. So, but this one is interesting. I am looking forward to trying this out, especially playing as Princess Zelda this time around. So I'm very curious to see how this one is going to play. I mean, I know some people will bring up the awful Philips CDI games to play as Zelda, which, yeah, let's just be honest, those were bad and everything like that. But hey, you had the Hyrule Warriors games where you could actually play as Princess Zelda, and those weren't bad either, though. So this is definitely one I'll be keeping an eye out. The next one is, of course, Fairy Tail 2, which is, I think, the sequel of the first one that was brought over to the Nintendo Switch and to other systems as well. I would say for a licensed game, the first one wasn't bad or anything like that. I thought it was definitely a fun game, even though I'm not a big Fairy Tail fan or everything like that. But still, nice to see that Koei Tecmo is doing a sequel. The next one, of course, is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Basically, this is sort of a definitive edition, like how Hyrule Warriors on the Switch was. We had Hyrule Warriors a definitive edition. This is sort of the same thing. It basically takes all the content from the Wii and the 3DS version and puts it onto the Nintendo Switch. Certainly nice indeed. I like Retro Studios' take on the Donkey Kong Country game, so certainly one I'll be looking forward to trying out. The next one, of course, is another game from Atlus, Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. I may not be the biggest Atlus or big, I'm not saying Atlus, the creators of the Disgaea series, though, or NIS America. I may not be the biggest fan of their games or anything like that, but I do enjoy them, and it's nice to see this one coming. Next one is, of course, Ace Attorney Investigation Collection, which is basically, I think, the Ace Attorney games, I think was either on the 3DS or the DS, that starred Miles Edgeworth, who was playing the main part, though. I think there were only 2 entries, and one never was released out here in the West, so to see both these games in one collection, that is definitely nice. And finally, the big one that they closed out with was basically Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This was a great way to end this direct and everything like that. And it was, I think, a game a lot of us have been waiting for so long, ever since it was announced back in 2017. And then we learned in 2019 that Nintendo had started over and rebooted the game and everything like that. And to see it finally is absolutely great. I mean, the game looks good. I am looking forward to trying this out. I mean, this is certainly a great send-off for the Nintendo Switch, although I do believe that there's a high chance this could be a cross-gen title and everything like that. There's still some questions of where it takes place in the Metroid Prime series and everything, to the location, to the new enemies and all, but definitely a great way to end this direct and all. As far as what I didn't like or mixed or not 100% sure about, I will say that while I am happy that we're getting another Donkey Kong game under, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, I do kind of wish to some extent that we basically would have liked to have a brand new Donkey Kong game from Retro Studio, whether it was another 2D Donkey Kong game, to even a take on do a 3D Donkey Kong game. I know some people have mixed feelings about Donkey Kong 64 and everything like that, but I really think Donkey Kong should get another shot in a 3D realm and everything. I mean, look, Mario games in 3D have done well. Zelda games have done well in 3D. I mean, we're seeing this with Metroid, with the Metroid Prime series. I know some people had mixed feelings about Other M, but still, nevertheless, I think it's high time that Donkey Kong gets another shot in the 3D realm and everything like that. So, but in either case, not that I'm disappointed with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, I just wish we had basically a brand new Donkey Kong game. The next thing I want to talk about is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD-2D Remakes, which, while I definitely am looking forward to this game, we unfortunately are going to have to wait until 2025 next year, compared to, I believe, if I'm getting the release date right, for Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake, that comes out this year and all, so a little disappointed we have to wait until next year for the 1 and 2 HD-2D remakes. The next one I do want to talk about is that they did show off a Metal Slug game called Metal Slug Attack Reload, which was based off, I think, a mobile game that was released on the iPhone and everything like that. I think they eventually shut the servers down. While it's nice that they are bringing this game over, I personally think that Metal Slug Tactics looks more impressive than Attack and Reload and all. The other thing I do want to point out in terms of this direct, though, is that while it is nice, and this is the next part I want to talk about, that we got to see Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, I am a little disappointed that we didn't see any announcement for a Metroid Prime 2 and 3 announced this direct, a remaster or a remake, because I really think it would have been nice if they had announced this along with Metroid Prime 4 and all. So it's a little disappointing we didn't get that one compared to how Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D got the announcement of 1 and 2 getting the HD 2D remake. And finally, last but not least, there were some ports that I would have liked that they have announced during this direct, which is a little bit unfortunate. One is a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think a lot of us would like to see that come over to the Switch or the Switch successor. And the other one is, of course, is Kid Icarus Uprising. I think a lot of us would have also liked to see that game not confined to the 3DS. So I do think it's a little bit unfortunate that those games weren't announced. But overall, I would say my takeaway from this direct is that I liked it. I thought it was really, really good. I think they hit a lot of the right notes, and this was a great final send-off for the Nintendo Switch and everything like that. So there are definitely a lot of games I'm looking forward to trying out. It'll be interesting once the Switch successor comes out and what kind of games we could hear coming to that system once they do a direct for that system, to be exact. But in either case, I will say I was very pleased with this latest Nintendo Direct. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with Marvel's Fighting Collection and an odd situation we're seeing right now with it not coming to the Xbox systems and all. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be talking about an interesting situation that's going on with Marvel's Fighting Collection. Now, for those who may or may not be aware, this was announced, I believe, on Tuesday, but also announced during the Nintendo Direct, that basically showed that Capcom was bringing over several of their the games that they worked on with Marvel, though, ranging from mostly the majority of them being fighting games, such as, if I'm saying it correctly, I believe the games that they are bringing over are X-Men, Child of the Atoms, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighters, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighters, Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of the Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, and of course they're bringing over the arcade beat-em-up The Punisher as part of this collection, which I will admit that's kind of a bit odd for it, though. I think it would have been much more appropriate for maybe, the Capcom beat-em-up collection that happened a couple of years ago and all. I think there may have been some licensing issues, but in either case, we are getting that game as well. And it was announced that it was be coming to systems like, I believe it was Steam, PS4 and the Nintendo Switch and everything like that. No PS5 version. But what's also caught people's attention was the fact that it was not coming to the Xbox consoles at all. This has led to some fans being angry at Capcom over this decision and everything like that, and not everyone seems to be happy about it. But reports from Windows Central with an update seem to indicate what may have been the problem for this game not coming over to the Xbox console. In an article from Insider Gaming, this is what they had to say, though, saying, quote, according to a new report from Windows Central, it has to do with Capcom's MT framework, one of their in-game engines, that the games are built on. The outlet source said that Capcom had no pipeline for porting older MT framework titles to Xbox modern systems, which makes it more expensive to deliver the same title than it would porting them to the PS4, Switch, or PC. Insider Gaming has reached out directly to Microsoft and Capcom for comments on this report. Should a response be received, the story will be updated accordingly, though. It is also, as I mentioned, it's not coming to the PS5 or not a PS5 built version at all. So to see the fact that this one isn't coming to the Xbox is, I can see if you're a Xbox owner or if your main system is an Xbox system, I can see where this can be sort of a disappointment, though. But I also do find it kind of odd that it's not coming to the Xbox systems compared to like the PS4 or the Switch. With the Switch, I wouldn't say the Switch isn't more powerful. The Switch certainly isn't as powerful as what the Xbox systems may be, and also it's sort of an odd situation, to be exact. Perhaps Microsoft can work with Capcom to find a way to port the game over to their system. We know they try to do that with Baldur's Gate 3, and they worked with them, and supposedly they did find a workaround that was completely ending couch co-op on the Xbox versions and everything like that. So it is possible there could be a workaround, or there could be a way they could try to work things out and everything, but still, I kind of can see why some Xbox owners would be pretty upset or weren't happy to hear the fact that this game isn't coming to their system. So overall, very odd situation to see this game not come to that system and everything like that. Perhaps maybe down the road things could basically change, but at this point it doesn't seem. At this point, though, Marvel's Fighting Collection at this time isn't coming to, the Xbox consoles, at least not yet at all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with another situation in terms of a pre-order situation involving Walmart again. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a unfortunate situation surrounding Walmart with another pre-order situation, though, this time with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now, as some of you may have been aware of, when the pre-orders began for the remake or remaster of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo Switch, there was some sort of odd situation that happened as some people were reporting of getting their pre-orders, those who pre-ordered at Walmart, getting canceled compared to what we saw with basically Amazon or Best Buy or GameStop and everything like that. So it was sort of an odd situation, although some later reported that the pre-orders went through and everything to basically, and then a gift card or something from Walmart. Well, now it seems to be the situation has happened again, this time with Luigi Mansion 2 HD. In an article posted by Nintendo Life, it reads, quote, ahead of the launch of Luigi's Mansion 2 HD for the Nintendo Switch next week, Walmart is in the US has reportedly been canceling physical pre-orders, though. As highlighted by Go Nintendo, the exact same situation that played out with pre-orders for Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door last month is now happening with Luigi's new release. The retailer is once again offering a discount of $25 on the next purchase, over a $45 as an apology, but hasn't explained why it's canceling orders. Although this did happen with Paper Mario recently, as sources mentioned, some physical copies of games were still shipped to customers in the end. Nintendo at the time was apparently offering only physical copy of the game in store. They said if they have any updates, they will let you know. This is a strange situation, I will admit. And the fact that this is happening a second time with Walmart, though, it's just... Did anyone at Walmart take a look and figure out what went wrong or something like this? I mean, this happening twice, though, does make me question about pre-ordering games or pre-ordering anything towards Walmart, especially as I mentioned before in the past. What if when we finally hear about, the Switch successor, the Switch 2 and everything like that, what if we finally, get the information we need about that and all, and pre-orders start opening up? Are we going to see a situation play out like that for the Switch successor at all? I mean, can you imagine how many Nintendo fans will be pretty upset if they placed a pre-order for that system at Walmart only to hear it finally, their pre-orders got canceled and everything like that? I mean, seriously, I think Walmart, I don't know what Walmart is doing, and they really should have taken a look to see what exactly has been going on and everything like that. So, overall, I have to say this is an odd situation to happen a second time in a row, and it does make you kind of question and figure out, wondering what is going on at Walmart and everything like that. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one will have to do with limited run games doing their own showcase and everything like that. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, I want to take a look at limited run games. As some of you are aware of, they did their own direct or their own showcase this week and everything like that. And while it may not have been on the same level as, say, like the Nintendo Direct and everything like that, and some people are kind of mixed with how limited run games, runs their stuff or anything like that, there were some pretty neat announcements that they made, even if I thought I had questions about the presentation and everything like that. So in terms of what I liked about Limited Run Games' handling of their showcase, I will say that they started off with having some very interesting beat 'em ups that they are bringing over, though, ranging from G.I. Joe, Wrath of Cobra. There's one for Toxic Crusader, Jay and Silent Bob, and their beat 'em up game, including bringing over Fighting Force 1 and 2, basically for a physical version. And that's pretty impressive and everything that they are bringing those games over and everything like that, though. G.I. Joe, Wrath of Cobra, and Toxic Crusader is kind of interesting because I guess they probably saw the success that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game had last year, and they figured they cash out on nostalgic as well. But either way, I like beat 'em ups and everything like that, so these are ones I'll be keeping an eye out for. The other thing we saw during the presentation is that we are getting physical copies of Penny's Big Breakaway, and of course Lollipop Chainsaw is also getting are going to get physical copies, which is certainly nice indeed, though. Especially Lollipop Chainsaw, I'm definitely look forward to picking that one up, especially for the Nintendo Switch. Some retro love as well that they are showing, such as Tomba 1 and everything, including they are working on Tomba 2 as well with the Carbon Engine, the Gex trilogy, and of course the original PlayStation Fear Effect as well, so that is certainly nice. It'll be interesting to see if Fear Effect 2 also happens as well, but certainly nice to see that the first Fear Effect is going to get physical copy and is making a comeback, along with Star Wars, The Dark Force, and everything. The other thing, of course, was Ninja 5.0 and Shantae's Risky Revolutions are getting physical copies, though. I know Risky Revolution will also have one for the Game Boy Advance, since that game was originally developed for the Game Boy Advance, but I think got shelved for so long and everything. But I do know it is also coming to the Nintendo Switch and other platforms as well, so that is certainly nice. And finally, and while this one was leaked early, though, we know that Beyond Good and Evil 20th edition is happening, so that is certainly nice. It also explains why the game was delisted and everything. Looking forward to that one, especially coming to the Nintendo Switch. Supposedly they're claiming that this will tie into Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a game that has pretty much, let's just say, fallen into development hell, and who knows when that game will see the light of day. I mean, if Skull and Bones did, I'm sure Beyond Good and Evil 2 will probably see the light of day. But then again, I think the original creator of that game left Ubisoft, and of course, let's just say Skull and Bones hasn't gotten the best response and everything like that. As far as what I didn't like or mixed or not sure about, though, I will say the presentation, the way it was done, was just kind of weird and everything like that. I just thought it was sort of like bizarre and just sort of a little bit, in my view, a little bit too cheesy. It didn't have really a good charm to it and everything like that. So I thought it was sort of a odd thing, though. The next thing we're learning is basically we're seeing a physical copy for the Switch version of Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Now, this was sort of an odd announcement to begin with for multiple reasons. One, the fact that the game originally came out during the Switch's, early life cycle and everything like that, and there was actually a physical copy. But supposedly this one will have all the stuff in here, not the blue download kind of a thing, and I can see why some Switch owners might feel like they were kind of ripped off when the game originally came out and everything like that. Now that we're seeing something with, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus and all. The other thing to point out is that the next thing is that few of the games that were announced during this limited run showcase are going to be coming to Xbox. While there are some games that will be making its way to the Xbox system and everything like that, though, there are a good amount of them are not going to make their way over, which I can see that being somewhat of a disappointment, especially for those who may be a Xbox owner and everything. And last but not least, though, is that while there were some interesting games that were announced, some of them really did not have sort of a release date or anything like that, or some are just, or something like that. And I just think it was sort of weird that some of the games they announced, though, did not have an actual release date and all, or pre-orders starting right now and everything like that. So it just was sort of an odd situation indeed. Overall, I would say this was not a bad showcase for limited run or anything like that, though. It wasn't terrible. There were some neat announcements, but I would say there's nothing really memorable about this or anything like that. It just didn't reach the scale the way the Xbox Showcase or the Nintendo Direct did, though. So, yeah, there were some neat announcements. There were certainly games I might consider pre-ordering from limited run games. But the takeaway from it is that I wouldn't say there's anything special or anything like that. So, I would say okay, I guess. At least how I saw limited run games showcase and all. Okay, this concludes my my 2 cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the Nintendo Direct? Do you think this was a very good Nintendo Direct in any way? Were there certain games you're happy to see that they announced? Were there certain games you wish that they announced during this Direct? Were you happy to finally see Metroid Prime 4, or shall we say now call it Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? What are your thoughts about the situation with Marvel's Fighting Game Collection not coming to the Xbox at this time? Do you think this buys into the whole Xbox tax situation, though? Do you think Microsoft might work with Capcom to find a way to port these games over to the Xbox system in any way? What are your thoughts about the situation again with Walmart in terms of not being able to pre-order Luigi's Mansion 2 HD? Do you think this is ridiculous, though? Does this give you second doubts of pre-ordering from Walmart going forward, considering we saw what happened with Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door remake, and now Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remake? And what are your thoughts about limited run games showcase? Did you like some of the stuff that they showed during this showcase and everything like that? Are there games you're looking at possibly pre-ordering from limited run games in any way? Did you like what I said in this video? Did you not like what I said? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!